Adventure doing technology, but this is very cool. We're already very happy to say we're live on Facebook, and we are now also live on Instagram. So how fun is this? And I am delighted to be live with the fabulous author Rachel Linden. She is such a sweetie and an amazing young woman, up and coming fabulous talent here, and I'm really looking forward to chatting with her about her new book. We're getting some echo. Is that on your end, Rachel? Do you know? Do you
I
hear
don't
some?
know. I don't hear any echo.
This is
I'm
very
sorry.
odd. I normally don't have any issues. Hey, everybody. Well, as always, welcome to the Sunday gathering. And there's always an issue going on somewhere. I don't know what's going on this time around, but I'm in a little bit of echo. As long as you all can hear, that's the main thing. So I'm not going to worry about that. But on with Rachel Linden. And this is her new gorgeous, isn't this pretty, this new book of hers. I just love this book, The Secret of Orange Blossom Cake. It is such a fun read, you guys. I cannot tell you. And I want to make the cake. And we're going to get to that in a little bit here. But first of all, just aren't you glad when you show up live? Because when you do, you get your name put in a drawing for a goodie. And Rachel's going to provide us a goodie. I think she's got something in mind for a giveaway. And we'll draw a name later on here. Find some lucky winner who's going to get a little gifty. So hi to everybody. Hi to Marie. Hi to Pam. Susie's here. Hi, hi. And I think Susie might be joining us later on in this month when we're doing a book signing sort of in her neck of the woods. Someone said they had a frozen screen, but I don't see me frozen. Wave, Rachel. Rachel's not frozen either.
I don't think I'm frozen.
So I don't think it's on her end. So I'm sorry. I apologize if anybody's having technical difficulties, but you know, that's how it goes on the internet, right? So there you go. But anyway, we're going to get right to it because I want to have a chance to give Rachel plenty of time to talk about her book, to talk about Italy. And this book is set in Italy. Oh, I'll say hi to a couple more people. Hi, Deanna. Hi to Debbie. And I'll try and say hi to you as you come in, and I'll try to watch for questions. But mostly, we're going to listen to Rachel talk about her adventure. So, book is set in Italy. So, what's the deal with that? Do you have Italian ancestry? Are you just a big lover of Italy? How did you end up deciding to set this book in Italy?
Yes and yes. Okay, so this book, The Secret of Orange Blossom Cake, is about a social media chef who, when professional and personal disaster strikes, heads back to her ancestral olive farm, her family's ancestral olive farm in Italy, to try to save her career. And she has a brilliant plan to do that, which promptly, completely fails. And that's when the fun starts. So we have 3 generations of strong women, a sun-drenched summer in Italy, a second chance romance, a magical cookbook, and a lost recipe that can show you the happiest moment of your life. So that's the setting of the book. And
that, yes, I just love that. That is so cool. So you said yes and yes. So you have some ancestry in Italy and you've traveled in Italy. Tell us a little bit about that.
I have done both of those. Yeah. So my dad's family is from northern Italy, not very far away from Lake Garda, which is where I set this book. And then I lived in Hungary for 5 years, and Hungary is just a few hours drive from Italy. So I have spent a decent amount of time in Italy, particularly in the north. And so I just wanted to set a book. Now that I'm back in the Pacific Northwest in the US, I wanted to write a book about Italy. And it was so fun. I felt like I went to Italy for 5 months while I was writing this book. Every day I got to go to Italy.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, you did literally go to Italy, didn't you, for research, or am I hallucinating about that?
No, I did as well, because I had been to I had been to Lake Como and I had been to Lake Lugano, but I had actually never been to Lake Garda. And I thought, why did I set it on the lake I haven't been to? But Lake Garda is Italy's largest lake, and it gave me an excuse to go. So I took my husband because he likes challenging driving situations. He really thrives on it. So he was my chauffeur, and he drove me all around all these adorable little towns on windy roads. And then we did research, which my favorite research is to wander around eating and drinking things, because my books are full of food and, adorable places. And so that's what we did. So we did olive oil tastings and wine tastings, and ate local cuisine and ate lots of gelato and wandered around all the adorable little towns that I put in the book.
Wow, that just sounds so glamorous. Well, we did our little bucket list cruise earlier in the year. The only part of Italy we saw was Rome, but I loved it. I loved the Trevi Fountain, and I loved the Italian people. Oh my goodness, they're so sweet and friendly. There was one restaurant we went to, and we were out walking the next day, and the guy remembered us from the night before, and he's like, "Hello."
Oh,
My gosh, how cool is that? So it really is a special country with a special people. And that's so cool that you got to go there and do research. So did you do any actual cooking while you were over there, or was it mostly just relax and eat and write?
yeah, I didn't cook. I just ate. I cook all the time back home, but when I was there, I just ate things. I was the receiver in that situation.
That's a true vacation when you can just eat. Do you
Hmm.
have a favorite Italian dish?
Well, I have celiac, and so I can't have gluten, which takes out a lot of delicious
Oh,
Italian dishes. But I can eat risotto, and I love risotto. And so
uh,
risotto with wild mushrooms or with truffles, I just think is amazing.
oh, that sounds lovely. Marie says that her daughter lived in, oh, never mind. I thought you were talking about a place in Italy, Marie. We're talking about you. You and Pam must have similar locations. Oh, it's very interesting. And we've got a lot of new people have come to join us. Kelly's here and Lisa, and so happy you guys can be here. And more went flying by as we were talking. Delighted to have you. And hi also to our friends on Instagram who have joined us.
Oh, hi,
Thanks for
everybody.
coming and being with
Thanks
us
for
and
coming.
yeah, getting a chance. And Linda Bradley, an author, has joined us too, so that's very fun. And yeah, risotto that's an interesting. But I thought risotto is not rice. I thought what is risotto?
It's rice.
Oh, it
It
is
takes a
rice.
very,
Well,
very
somebody
long
told
time
me it
to
was like
make.
a little kind, like a little tiny pasta. I guess I was
Oh, you're thinking orzo. Orzo is pasta, but
Oh,
risotto is
orzo.
made with rice. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Oh, I'm getting my foods
They're
mixed
kind of
up.
the same size.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's my excuse. But I do love risotto. I love rice too. And I do love Italian. Oh my gosh. Lasagna, pizza, you name it. I am so there for
Mm.
it. And the goodies, this cake. Oh my gosh. I want to make this cake. So you guys, you need to buy the book just for the cake recipe because she's got this recipe for this orange blossom cake in it. And I was looking at the ingredients on it and like orange blossom extract, was it? Can I this is it probably wouldn't taste the same, I guess, but can I substitute orange extract? I already got to go out and buy orange liqueur.
You
Just
can,
checking.
so they're in the recipe. You can buy it. It's like $7 on Amazon. It's not very
Oh,
expensive to buy
okay.
orange blossom extract. But if you don't want to do that or you don't have access to it, you can substitute. I have a substitution in the recipe. So my mom and I came up with this recipe the last time she was visiting me, and I needed to make an orange blossom cake recipe. And so I said, well, do you want to do it together? And she said that would be fun.
Oh,
So for the visit that she was here, we just made different variations of the cake until we hit on one that we went, oh, this is it. This is
this is
so
the one.
good. And it has a cup of olive oil in it, and you pulp an entire orange into the batter. So it's very orangey and very moist and very fragrant, and it is absolutely delicious. I made it for my book club, and there wasn't a crumb left. And I just
Oh,
launched, the book launched on Tuesday, and I made 4 of these cakes for the launch party. And again, people just gobbled it up. So it's a really delicious cake, and the recipe is in the back. And I made it up.
yes.
It's yummy.
Wow. And I'm thinking like olive oil and cake. That feels so weird to me because I've never done that before. So this will be a big cooking adventure. I'm hoping to get that made here once my life settles down a little bit. But you guys and plus then you use I think was it Grand Marnier you said or some kind of orange. I've got it right here in the book. But so you're putting the fancy liqueur in there also for the flavor.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's a very elegant recipe.
It is elegant. It's not hard though. And you can leave out that if you want. And I did put a substitution if you can't get orange blossom extract. There's a substitution that I think is vanilla and orange extract, and I put the substitution in, so you can do that instead.
Okay, so I can get a little thrifty. Although probably
Uh-huh.
I should, if I'm going to do it, I should do it right, huh?
Totally up to you. It's delicious either way.
Oh, it sounds lovely. So guys, the story is charming. So I would say, oh, get it just for the recipe. But there's more to the book than the recipe. The story really is lovely. So tell us just, I want to know a little here. I don't know how much you can tell, but there is a little sprinkling of fairy dust here and here, a little bit of magic. And is that anything you can share, or are we going to keep it a secret?
Oh no, I can share.
Okay.
So Jules goes back to Italy because she needs her family cookbook of recipes that her nonna Bruna had. And she needs this cookbook of recipes. She's going to try to save her career with it. Unfortunately, what she doesn't realize until she gets there is that this is a magical cookbook. It only shows the person who opens the book, it only shows them one recipe at a time. It shows you the recipe that you need to fix the problem in your life that you're having at that point. And so when she opens the cookbook, it's completely blank and she doesn't know what to do. It will not cooperate. So it's a very cantankerous cookbook with its own ideas of what she needs. And Jules has to go on a personal journey to figure out how she gets what she needs without the help of this cookbook and learn the lessons that she needs to learn.
Yes, I was that was such a surprise when I got to the part about the cookbook and the blank pages. I was like, oh my gosh, and then they're there, the recipe's there, and then it's not. And it's really, and her Nona is a very interesting character. She's got her own little secrets that are really adorable, actually. She just is fascinating to me as a character. I just love her. Could you now, so you said you speak Italian, right? Did I remember that correctly?
No, I don't speak Italian, although I learned through this book, I learned a lot of mild Italian swear words because I have nonnas kind of saying things back and forth. There's a feud between two nonnas that are next door, and they get a little spicy in their language. So I only used very mild swears, like, the equivalent of like, well, darn it, or oh gosh, or oh shoot. But I did learn all of those in Italian. So the extent of my Italian is basically, like a few words and then mild Italian swears now.
So you can't tell us anything beyond buongiorno?
And then some very mild swear words. That is correct.
Well, we'll just stop with buongiorno then. I don't know why. I know what I was thinking, because, well, if you have Italian ancestry, you should be able to, speak Italian, right? Right. That, like, of course, all of us who have, great grandparents from another country should know how to speak that language, shouldn't we? Not. So,
well, my grandfather actually, he and all of his siblings spoke Italian exclusively at home, but then they all, as adults, chose not to pass it on to their kids and not to ever speak it again. I just had an article yesterday published in People magazine about discovering my Italian heritage and how it inspired this book. And you can look it up. You just look up People magazine, Rachel Linden, it'll pop up. But it's because they were really ashamed of their Italian heritage. And so I went on quite a journey to learn about my own family's heritage. And then it kind of sparked this inspiration for the book.
Interesting. I think that was the case for a lot of that generation that came over here as immigrants. And of course, they wanted to adapt. They wanted to be part of the country. And so as part of doing that, well, then we've got to master the language, So I get that. And depending on, it was after World War II, there was so much back history that a lot of people, I think, just kind of wanted the fresh start and wanted to forget it. But of course, now so many of us, we love looking up our family lineage and where was my family from, and taking trips to the country of origin. And so it's kind of cool that you're able to honor your family's history with this fun novel. It really is fun. And I think I'm figuring out some themes here, but would you say there are some certain themes in the book that are kind of little hidden gems in there?
So I always have a couple little nuggets in my books that I hope that readers can put in their pocket and take away. And the big ones with this book deals with anxiety, it deals with grief and loss, and it deals with fear of grief and loss, and how fear can really hold us back from living the life that truly feels full of meaning and purpose. So at its heart, the theme of this book really is about being courageous and taking a risk for the right hard things in life, to risk and have courage to embrace the things that really give our lives meaning and purpose, the things we really want in life. So that's the heart of it.
I think that's really inspiring. Had you done one thing I thought was interesting at one point when she was getting stressed, she was doing kind of like the shaking, the flicking the hands thing as like a calming device. Does that actually work? Because
It does.
I am under so much pressure right now. I should be doing this all the time.
Oh, Sheila. Okay, I'm going to text you after this live stream. I'll give you some tips. Yeah, my husband and I were international aid workers, and as part of that work, we experienced some secondhand trauma ourselves, and have both dealt with some anxiety and some post-traumatic type stuff. And so, yeah, we both have gone through some trauma counseling and trauma therapy. And part of it is about what you do with your body, the movements of your body, and how your body helps you release trauma. And so one of the things that one of our therapists told us to do was, if you are feeling stressed, you shake your hands like this. You take calming breaths and you shake your hands, and it helps you kind of regulate. So
I love that.
when we had young kids and things, they'd both be crying and things would be all very stressful. And we'd sometimes just go in the kitchen and spend a minute just sort of both going like this and thinking, gosh, I hope the neighbors are not looking in the window. We look like completely crazy, but it was helpful.
Hey, if it works. So guys, if any of you are going through some stressful times, there's a lovely little tip from Rachel, something you can do to kind of help your body just take a breather and calm down. Linda Hall says that her grandparents would not teach them to speak Slovak. Did I say it right? Slovak.
Oh,
That I think they felt the same way. Isn't that interesting?
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
we're just gonna move on, and especially if you come from a war-torn country or hard times, you just want to put that behind you and not think about it. But hi,
Mhm.
Chelsea, who's arrived. Hi, Patty, and let's
Hi,
see, we've got
everybody.
hi to some more of our little Instagram people who have joined us. We've got Jen O'Brien here, and we've got Christina Bernard, author. So very fun to have some authors on board here. And authors, as you all know, it's always a journey, when you're writing a book. And and sometimes you actually discover things that you didn't think you're going to discover when you're in the process of writing a book. Was there anything that you felt like you kind of discovered when you were writing this book that, oh, that's a surprise?
One of the things, because I put a lot of food in my books, and so I think as Americans we think we understand what Italian cuisine is, but Italy is extremely diverse. It has something like 20 different culinary regions in it, maybe more, and they're really varied. And a lot of the things that are popular in northern Italy around the lake region, it's its own culinary region with stuff that we've never heard of.
Huh.
So there's I put it in the book, there's a little dish that translates as priest chokers or priest hats, because they said that it's this like dumpling that's made with spinach and cheese and breadcrumbs, and it was supposed to be so delicious that the priests would eat them so fast that they'd choke on them because they were so yummy. That's how it got the name. So these funny little, very, very narrow regional cuisine that I put in the book. It was just fun to learn about that and to learn about what grows in that area. Lake Garda has a very peculiar microclimate that allows it to grow olives and citrus further north than anywhere else in the world. And so it's a really special place with really unique, delicious things that they produce around the lake.
Gosh, now I really want to go. I wish we'd seen more of Italy. I'm a little afraid to drive, though, to kind of get so much out of my comfort zone. I mean, I've enough years driving in Germany, and although things have calmed down in Germany now, last time we were there, I thought, oh, the Autobahn, and they actually finally have established some speed limits on the Autobahn, and they've got the cameras, and they're watching it, and if you speed, you really get in trouble, and so that's kind of calmed down a little, but so much of Europe, it's just a big adventure, when you get in a car, like, ah. So, hi, Doris, by the way, I see you've arrived. Hi, Nicole, and Sonia made it. Yay. So, very, very interesting. But, but you were okay driving over there. You had your husband doing it, so you weren't in the seat. Even if I was in the passenger seat, I'd just be going, ah. So, but you were okay.
I trust him. He's a good driver and he kind of thrives on the adventure. And so he drove us around all these little windy roads. And then I just took pictures and wrote things down and experienced the ambiance and imagined myself in the story. And it's really fun because it does feel like this book allows you to go to Italy from your couch or your chair or your porch or wherever you are while you're reading it. It feels like a warm hug and a trip to Italy, like a warm hug from your favorite nana and a vacation to Italy. That's what this book feels like.
I know, as I'm reading, I'm going, oh, I just really want to go to Italy, and I want to be at a nice, warm, sun-dappled olive grove, and I want to pick olives, and it was, and the market. And that's such a special thing in so much of Europe that we have some of those here now, of course, in the US, the little farmers markets, but the European markets are just so unique, and fascinating, and you never know what you're going to find at them. So I loved that scene where they were in the market buying things. That just, Sharon says, all this talk is really making me hungry.
I'm sorry, Sharon. And if you read the book, it's not going to get better. I've got people are putting hunger warnings on my books
Oh, that's so
because they
funny.
get so hungry. And I actually talked to a lady in an event this week, and she said, so when I bought your book, The Magic of Lemon Drop Pie, I wouldn't let myself open the cover until I stopped at the store and bought a pie, because I knew that when I started it, I'd get partway through and need pie. So
Oh, that's
people are
so
stocking
funny.
up in advance and getting ready with snacks and treats and then starting to read.
That is hilarious. Well, and the biscotti, I should try it again. I made biscotti years ago and kind of did some adapting of that. But biscotti to me feels a little labor intensive. And I don't know if it's just that I'm getting lazy because you kind of have to bake
Hmm.
it twice kind of
You
thing
do
when
have
you're
to bake it
baking.
first. I've got a really easy, good recipe though.
Okay,
It's
all right.
really simple. You do have to always bake it twice because that's just what biscotti
Because
is.
that's
But
what you do, because it has to be all dried out and crunchy.
yeah.
You wouldn't think something dried out and crunchy would be good, but it is. And any biscotti lovers out there, man, biscotti, I had this recipe I made. It was a great one for Christmas because I think I dipped it in white chocolate or something. I
Oh,
did,
yum.
yeah,
Okay,
made peppermint crumbles.
I have a funny little tidbit about biscotti. So I
Yeah.
have an Italian translator friend. She's the Italian translator for The Magic of Lemon Drop Pie. And she told me, if you ever write a book set in Italy, please let me read it because Americans never get all the Italian stuff right. So when I
Oh,
wrote this book, and she's a novelist and a playwright, a TV presenter, she's a wonderful woman. Her name is Alessandra. And so when I wrote this book, I wrote to her and I said, Alessandra, were you serious about that? Would you be willing to read it so I make sure everything is correct? And bless her heart, she had a play coming out that week, but she said, I will. And so she stayed up until 2 in the
oh,
morning for a week reading my book to make sure that everything was correct with the Italian and various things. And she changed things, and it was really wonderful. And she said, you really captured Italy, not the tourist Italy, but the real Italy, which was such a
oh, wow, that's a huge compliment.
it is a compliment. And I was very touched and very blessed that she did this. But the funny thing she told me, she said biscotti is plural, biscotto is singular. So you can't have someone eating one biscotti. It's a biscotto if they're eating it. And I said, well, Americans don't know that. We just call it all biscotti. And so if I put biscotto, people are going to be confused. So I had to go back in the manuscript and change everywhere that people were eating biscotti to have them eating multiple biscotti.
I
So
wondered
they had to
about
change it.
that. Oh,
Oh yeah,
that's
so
so
nobody
interesting.
could eat one. They all had to eat multiple biscotti because I couldn't put in biscotto because I knew people would be confused about it. So but then I talked to an Italian friend and they said, well, we would never eat one biscotto anyway. We would always eat more than one, so it's fine. So anyway, that's why they're all eating lots of biscotti all the time in
Well,
the story.
it sounds like a good idea to me,
I know, not a bad idea.
Oh my gosh, that's such a funny story. Well, I remember reading. There was one point where she called her mia cara, I think it was, and I thought it was the other way because there was that old song cara mia, whatever, and I thought, oh, but if you had an Italian lady checking it, so that must have gotten translated wrong in that old American song. We must have that backwards.
Maybe,
So
or maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe you can do it either way. Sometimes it
I don't
doesn't matter.
know.
I don't know.
But the good thing is and so guys, just keep that in mind. She has had everything checked. So she really knows what she's doing here. And I think that's great. Debbie says she has a pizzelle maker. I don't have an idea.
Oh my gosh. My
What's
great
pizzelle?
pizzelles. My great uncle used to make those. He was this giant man, giant Italian man. And at family gatherings, he'd be on a stool hunched over this little tiny maker. They're very flat anise flavored little flat cookies that you put into a maker, and they're crispy and they have a beautiful pattern on them.
Oh,
They're almost like a little super flat waffle, like very crispy flat little waffle, like a strop waffle without the caramel in the middle, but anise flavored. They're pizzelles. Yeah. Oh, that's so fun. You have one of those.
that is so cool. This is like our culinary lesson for the day, guys. I
Mm.
hope you're enjoying hearing all this Italian stuff. And for those of you who've come in a little late, thank you for joining us live. We're going to be, after we're done, I will get on there and go woo and pick a name, and somebody's going to win. What are you giving away tonight, Rachel? Rachel is very gracious.
Okay.
She would give something away.
I am going to give away. I wrote a novella set in the Scottish Highlands called A Second Chance Scottish Summer. And it features a redheaded guy in a kilt making cheese. And it's really fun. And I'm going to give away a copy of that. I'll give away a signed copy of that. I will send it to you, and you can enjoy going to the Scottish Highlands as well as
There
going.
you go. How fun is that? Oh, Debbie Iskin has one of those too. She said it's electric.
Oh,
It's electric. Oh, never mind. Anyway, I'm digressing into songs. That's very cool. I'm gonna have to check this thing out. That sounds really interesting. Very fun. So, okay, let's see. I know I had another question here of great importance. Oh yeah. So, here's kind of a nice deep question. Are there some themes in the book? I think you might have touched on this earlier that you want readers to take away. What are you hoping readers will take away from this book after reading it?
I think I'm really hoping that readers take away, the main theme is really about not letting fear hold us back. That sometimes we think that fear protects us. And sometimes fear is like, you don't go pet a raccoon because you're afraid it's going to bite you. And that's a realistic fear. But oftentimes we can think that fear is protecting us when actually it's holding us back from really good things. And so this is about having courage. You know, Jules has lost a lot and she's kind of mired in grief, and she stayed away from Italy for 15 years because of what she lost. And when she goes back, she's forced to confront the loss and the grief and the fear and the anxiety, and to decide if she's going to take the risk and have the courage to take the risk to embrace the right hard things in life. Because life is hard. Hard things happen. Hard things happen a lot in life. But I think it's about, are you embracing the right hard things? Are you embracing the things that are leading to a true and purposeful and meaningful life? And so that's what I hope people take away.
I love that. And hard things aren't all there is to life too, you know, which is a good thing to remember. You know, there are often some good things sprinkled in there as well. And if we can focus on that. Pam is wanting to know, what countries are your books set in besides Italy and Scotland? Are those your main focus country-wise?
I have a book. So a lot of times I live in the Pacific Northwest. Sheila and I live about 35 minutes from one another. And I live on a little island in the Pacific Northwest in Puget Sound. And so some of my books are set here. They're set on little islands, or they're set in the Pacific Northwest. I also have Becoming the Talbot Sisters is set in Central Europe. And then Recipe for a Charmed Life is set half in Paris and half on San Juan Island in the Pacific Northwest. And The Magic of Lemon Drop Pie is in Hawaii, Brighton, England, and Florida, and the Pacific Northwest. So I like to hop around. I like to explore really lovely, wonderful places in my books.
Oh, yes. Well, and we love to read about the lovely, wonderful places in your book. So that works out well. And speaking of places, you guys, I do want to mention, now I know most of you are scattered all over the country, but if you know any Washingtonians, anyone here in the Pacific Northwest, Rachel and I are actually going to do a couple of appearances together on Saturday, October 18th. And I made a note because I never remember. We will be at Browser's Bookstore in Olympia, Washington from 2 to 3 on that day. And then later on, we're heading over to Island Books in Mercer Island, Washington. And we'll be there at 6:30. And I know we'll probably have some sort of little munchie for you so you won't die of starvation before you go out to dinner. But and if anybody would like to join us, we've got, I've been collecting goodies for some gift baskets, and we'll have some fun and games and some good conversation and just basically a good time. So like I said, I know a lot of you are from all over the place, but if you are a Washington person, Pacific Northwest, maybe you could join us or spread the word. Please share. And I've got that information on my Sheila's Place website under the Sheila sightings if you want to refresh yourself and make sure that you got the details right. But it's going to be great fun. I love doing stuff with Rachel, and we have a whole chunk of us out here in the Pacific Northwest who hang out together, and it is such a awesome group of writers. We have such a good time together. And so I'm really looking forward to doing this with Rachel. So keep that at the back of your minds, you guys. And yeah, I know Susie says she's going to be at Island Books on the 18th.
Yay!
Susie, that's going to be so fun. Looking forward to it. So
it'll be fun. Anywhere Sheila is always a good time. We're going to have a great talking about Sheila's new book and my new book, and eating things, and then you can win prizes.
We're gonna have a good time. I gotta show you the pretty cover. And I guess I'm not normally a fan of orange, but I think this cover is just gorgeous. So I hope I'm holding that up well enough to see.
Really fun for fall. I'm not normally a fan of orange, but they showed it to me and they had it in several different colors, and I just said, oh no, we have to go with the orange. It just feels like Italy, and it feels so wonderful for fall. It's like the perfect cover.
Well, and orange blossom cake. I mean, what other color can you go with for orange blossom cake?
You just
goodness.
Yeah. Have to do that. Oh, and Sheila, I was going to say, this book is really about relationships, because there's a second chance romance with the hunky Italian olive farmer next door, but there's also this wonderful generational relationships with her Nonna Bruna, who's a 4'11" spitfire of an Italian grandma, and then the half sister that she brings along with her somewhat reluctantly. And so a lot of it is sort of found family, finding your own roots, reconnecting, and a lot of it is food, travel, second chances, love, and magical realism, but also a lot about family drama and relationships, which I love.
It's a good book, guys. Seriously, it really is a good read. I hope you'll support her and buy it and support your local bookstore. And as I always say, I know that not all of us have unlimited funds. If right now the piggy bank is a little empty, request that your local library buy this book in, because libraries will bring in books when customers request them. And so be sure and do that. Support your local bookstore, and I'll show some love to Rachel, because this is a really fun book. So I think that's about all that I needed to talk to her about at this point in time. And I hope you guys have had a fun little break for our usual Sunday afternoon gathering. It's great to see you, and thanks for my Insta people for also joining us. Guys, I'm making note of names here, and we will do a little drawing for somebody to be a lucky winner, and I will post that on both social media platforms later on, so you'll know who happened to win. Thanks for coming. And again, like I said, if you know anybody in the Pacific Northwest who might want to join us on the 18th for one of our appearances, we would love to have you do that. So meanwhile, we got a whole brand new week coming up. I hope you have a great week with lots of fun stuff going on, and we will say bye first to our Insta people, and then a fun farewell to our people on Facebook. Thanks you guys so much for joining us. And thank you, Rachel.
Oh, thanks for having me, Sheila.